Hey, brightened up? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Hashtag Positivity Podcast.
Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into the podcast. Sorry that Don didn't give you the "We're back" like he did last week. I know that was pretty fun for all of us.
We're back!
Don's been taking opera lessons. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, he's good, man.
No, that was great.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming back after last week's Thanksgiving episode. Hopefully you're not still full of us. And I had a great Thanksgiving. How about you guys?
It was awesome. Really, really good. What'd you do, bud?
Well, my parents were up from Florida, like we talked about last week. So we went out to dinner, which was a little bit weird. The food was good, but it didn't really have that Thanksgiving vibe. You know, we weren't at my mom's house like we have been all the years in the past.
Yeah.
Still got to spend some good time with family and friends. Went to a couple friends' houses just to have a drink with them or have some appetizers, things like that. But it felt a little off this year. I was hopeful. I still had a great time. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was great to see my parents, great to see everybody, but it just didn't have that feeling. Something to get used to.
Have they headed back to Florida already?
Yeah, they're back. They're back home in Florida now, so it'll be a couple months before I see them again. But yeah, it was good. I mean, it was great to see.
Do you go down there for Christmas, or do they come back up here?
Well, this will be the first year, so we're not really.
Gotcha.
We don't have any plans set in
Nothing
stone.
set in
I'll
stone.
probably travel down there, but couple other things coming up. I've got a cousin getting married in a few days now, Sunday.
Nice. Oh, nice.
So see some more family from a different side of the family this weekend. But how about you, Don? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. Spent a lot of time with family. Got a little work in. That was good. One of my favorite holidays.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think same as you guys. I had a great time with my wife and kids. We spent the afternoon at my mother-in-law's house. But when Donnie said one of my favorite holidays, I definitely agree with him. I think the reason I love it so much is that there's no expectations around the gifts and stuff that might accompany birthdays or Christmas or those types of celebrations. And it's truly about, well, at least I think it's supposed to be about truly giving thanks for the people that you have in your life, not the things. And I know we talk about that a lot, but this year, for whatever reason, maybe because of the personal relationships I have or the work that we've been doing with not just the podcast, but with, other people around our message and of giving back and of, service to others. This Thanksgiving for me, I just spent a lot of time thinking about how fortunate I was to have the opportunity to be surrounded by family and people that I love very much, and a great feast of food and drink. But I really spent a lot of time thinking about those that didn't have a chance to experience any of that, that might not have a roof over their head, a hot meal.
Those things we take for granted all the time.
Yeah, and that I'm so guilty of taking for granted all the time. Complaining about how full I was. It's just crazy because, and then you catch yourself and you're like, wait a minute. There's people out there that have nothing.
Yep.
They have nothing. So it was, I agree with Donnie, one of my favorite holidays, phenomenal day and long weekend with family and friends. Got a chance to take the boy out in the woods again and do some hunting.
How's he liking that?
Man, he is crazy about it. He just loves it. It's just becoming his passion, and to be able to share it with him is great. And my daughter had a great weekend, and so it was just good all around.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Don, I know you mentioned you were going to be with your son. You guys had a little tradition that you were going to carry forward with. How'd that go?
Yeah, it went great. My nephew tagged along with us this year, which was a really good surprise. Had a great time. Jimmy lives out in Enfield. He's early 20s, and it was just a fun time to be with my dad, my son, and my nephew, and looking forward to continuing that tradition. It's really a fun time. And
That's
a lot,
cool.
A lot of laughs, especially as the kids get older.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
More and more inappropriate as the years go by, but it's all good.
Yep. Yeah, we had some good laughs. Like I said, went and hung out with a couple of my friends, and man, when you just get laughing, you get on a roll and you get laughing and you can't stop, and your like stomach hurts and your face hurts.
Nothing better.
I love that feeling. Man, how awesome. We always end up talking about stuff that we did in high school, and we never did anything ridiculous. None of us were ever arrested or anything like that. But man, did we do some stupid stuff that we laugh so hard at.
But that's how you know the friends are real, and that's how you know those are the people that you want to be around, because if you can share the same stories year after year with the same people, and the stories never get old, that's real friendship, real camaraderie. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than that.
It's a blast.
Speaking of old friends, I have an old friend. John is also an old friend of this person. He listens to the podcast regularly.
Right on.
I'd like to give him a special little shout out.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about, so I'm going to take a stab at it here.
Yes, please do.
All right.
Yes.
So as we get rolling here through this episode of the Hashtag Positivity Podcast, special shout out, love, thanks, and respect out to our boy Steve.
Is he right?
You have been.
He's right.
All right.
Right on the money.
Yeah, you have been just a great friend. A great friend of the show, I hear, and undoubtedly have some unbelievably positive messages to share with Donnie as we move forward with our weekly episodic programming. And what do you think, Jay?
Let's bring him on. Any friend of yours is a friend of mine.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So
even Don. So
if you wouldn't mind,
Thanks.
So if you wouldn't mind asking Steve to join us,
I will definitely reach out to him. I think he would be a great guest.
I agree. So, Steve, consider this an official invitation from Donnie, Jason, and I. We'd love to have you.
Yep, it'd be great.
So, for sure, hopefully we'll see Steve soon. Can we just talk for a few minutes, though, about, I talked a little bit about Thanksgiving and, as we get into the holiday season here, and we share, you and I and Donnie, we try to share stories every week that are either uplifting in some way, maybe give some people some hope, some inspiration, with things that they may be struggling through. And so one of the things that this podcast has been, for me, one of the best gifts is that we hear and we share all these stories all the time, and we say to ourselves, at least I do, I don't want to speak for you, but I say to myself, wow, what that person did was so amazing. Or what those people did to help other people was so amazing. And one of the things that has been great, not just about this podcast, but about really some of the decisions I've tried to make in my life, specifically over the last couple of years, is why not us? Why not me? We hear those stories all the time, and how about deciding to become part of that change and deciding to say, I can write one of those stories. I can be part of one of those stories. And not for any praise or accolades, but because as human beings in our hearts, it's the right thing to do to help somebody else who might need it.
Yep. And it can be something so small, and small actions snowball. You do something for somebody, but then your friends get involved with a project that you're doing, and it just grows and grows exponentially. It reaches more people. You're able to, if it's a fundraising thing, you raise more funds, or your reach is just that much broader. But it's funny because I was just thinking about this as you said that, and I think part of it too is we're also our own worst critics. So we may not think that we're making much of a difference. We know that we're trying to, but then we get feedback from other people. I know people reach out to you all the time, and myself and Don
all the time.
And they say, hey, thanks for that episode. And to us at the time, it didn't seem like anything. It's just what we feel, what we're passionate about, but it made a difference for somebody. So maybe if more people realize that, you're going to reach somebody. It doesn't matter how large or small your action is, you're going to reach somebody. And it doesn't take a whole lot. You can start somewhere, let it grow. If you just want to do it on a small scale forever, that's fine too. But taking that initial step to help somebody out, I don't think that there's anything that you can do within reason, obviously, that that won't make a positive impact in one way or another.
Absolutely
You know,
right.
you hold a door for somebody that was having a bad day, and that's going to turn the corner for them.
And
it's got the possibility to make a difference.
And it can turn that day around.
Yep.
And as corny and as cliche as some of that stuff sounds, that's how people all across this country and around the world navigate their lives and get through their days when they're having a tough time. They hope for support from other people. So I guess the message for me this week as we get into this season where it's all about stuff is the stuff is just that. It's shit. It doesn't mean anything compared to the impact that you could have on another human being's life. And to me, that's what the season that we're getting into is all about. So we spend hours and hours and hours of our time, attention, and energy talking about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We spend time on the computer looking at the next best deal for the thing that we can buy for somebody else. But we may not have taken 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour out of our lives this week to do something for that person. Not buy them something, not get them something, but invest our time in that person.
Yep.
And so as we get into this season, man, I'm just really, really trying to focus on not just becoming part of the solution, but giving to other people, because the greatest gift you can ever give another human being is your time. We exchange part of our life for it. And so I'm really hopeful that the people that listen to us, if you take 2 minutes of your time to pass this message along to somebody else that, hey, is this season really about what we buy, or is this season about what we share and the time we spend and the love we give? Are we leading with our hearts? Are we being good people that are trying to truly touch the people in our lives that matter to us? Or are we just going to go buy them some shit online because it'll make them smile temporarily? So that's really going to be my focus.
The other thing too is we all have bad days, right? We all have our own battles going on. We have personal stuff that not everybody knows about, but being polite is something that doesn't happen very often with everyone either, you know? So I don't think I mentioned this on the podcast, but a couple weeks ago, I believe I put it out on an Instagram post or something, but I was at the drive-thru getting a coffee at Starbucks, and just as a matter of an everyday thing, just being polite to someone, the window opened, I said, "Hey, how are you today?" And the woman behind the window was like stopped in her tracks, just completely flabbergasted, like stopped everything and said, "I'm doing really well, thanks for asking. Nobody has asked me that today." Now this is, halfway through the day.
Of course.
But nobody has asked, "How are you doing today?"
It's
Nobody?
crazy.
That's
and
crazy
to your point, we live in a world where doing the right thing, just being polite, is either A, uncommon, or shows a sign of weakness. We have to be on guard all the time, right?
Yep.
So just to sort of piggyback on that, it's so interesting you say that, because I do, as you know, I do a lot of work with adolescents and kids in schools.
Yep.
So one of the things that I talk to kids about a lot, and this is exactly what you were just talking about, how people are taken back by what should be everyday behavior and everyday attitudes, like be good to the person next
normal.
to you. Just be good, right? So I ask kids all the time, and usually it's a classroom setting or an auditorium setting, whatever. But picture, as you're listening to this, picture a room full of teenagers, whether it's a classroom, an auditorium, a gymnasium, but it's full of teenagers. And I ask them this question every school I speak at. How many of you in this room, and I won't use the language on the podcast, but sometimes I do with the kids because I think it provides the effect that I'm looking for. But I ask the kids, how many of you in this room have seen or heard one person deliberately hurt or attack another person with their words? I start with that, just with their words. And of course, every hand in the classroom, the gym, the auditorium goes up, right? So, and it's powerful. Every hand goes up. And I also share with them, I say, listen, I know I'm not going to make you raise your hands, but I know we're all guilty of that at one point or another in our life as well. Fine. So how many of you have heard people use nasty, awful, hurtful language specifically directed at another person? Again, all of them raise their hands. And then I always pick out somebody in the audience and I walk up to him or her and I say, do you mind if I put my hands on you? I'm going to ask if I could shake your hand. And usually a kid will say, sure, that's okay. So I ask him, I say, how many of you have seen this? And I walk up to the kid and I extend my hand and I say, hey, I'm John. How are you? And the kid says, well, whatever their name is, usually, hey. But they're nervous because a lot of people are watching them.
Right.
And I look at him and I say, I just want you to know I hope you have a great day. And there's stunned silence. And I asked the classroom, the auditorium, or wherever at, I asked them, how many of you see that regularly at your school? And there's usually laughs and chuckles. And I look and I go, that would be crazy, right? And the kids are like, yeah, that would never happen.
It's a joke.
And so I say to them,
the most outlandish thing they've ever seen.
and so I say to them, think about how backwards that is. Think about the world you guys are growing up in right now and what you have to face. It's totally normal to hear the most awful words directed at another person, and you guys don't even bat an eyelash. It's totally normal. But if one person walked up to another person, extended their hand, said hello, and said, hey, I hope you have a great day, you would think that person's crazy. So we all need to, the bottom line is we all need to do a better job.
It's just not, it's not as common as it should be. It should be normal. It should be, that's just the way things are, be polite, be kind, take care of one another. Like,
Doesn't cost anything to be nice.
That's
right.
Talking about buying gifts and Black Friday and Cyber Monday doesn't cost a thing to be nice.
Not a single thing. And like we've talked about before, and I share this with kids all the time, if you tell somebody you care, you may help them for a minute, an hour, or a day. But if you show somebody you care, you change that person's life forever. And that's not like corny hodgepodge, come on, Hallmark card bullshit. That's real. I've seen it happen in the 20 years I've worked with kids. It's happened in our own lives. Think about the people, as you listen to this, think about the people in your own life that have taken the time to show you they care and how that's impacted your life.
Yep. I came across this thing the other day. I'm glad I was able to find it, so I have the exact wording. But it's about the value of a smile.
Might be a good way to wrap, right?
Sure.
Given the theme that we're talking about,
Yeah.
Might be a really good way to wrap, and then we can get into our word association. But I'd love to hear it.
Sure. Yeah. So the value of a smile, it costs nothing but creates much. It enriches those who receive without impoverishing those who give. Goes on later to say, it cannot be bought, begged, borrowed, or stolen, for it's something that has no earthly good to anybody until it is given away. How awesome is that?
Awesome.
I mean,
Awesome. And I love the last piece. It's absolutely no good to anybody, the person, until it's given away.
Yep. And it's one of the easiest things you can do.
Yes.
You pass someone in a hallway, on the street, in a store, give them a smile. Just show them that you care. Show them that, hey, I'm here with you. We're in this world together.
Yeah.
We're fighting the same battles. Man.
Yeah, it's hard for everybody. And just in light of what we were talking about today, just a strong word of, I guess, hope or encouragement. As you reflect on the next month or so, and we get into the holiday season, and you think about either some of the struggles you have and what you're doing to overcome them, or really the blessings that you have, take some time out of each day to do something that can impact the life of another human being in a positive way. I can't tell you how important it is for us to share that message with all of you, and how much I really, really hope you work to do that in your own lives. No one's asking you to walk into a store, hold hands with everybody in the store, and sing Kumbaya. This is real life. We live in it the same way you guys do. We have the same challenges, struggles, hardships with our work, our families, our finances, all of that stuff. But I would really just encourage you during this season, start to make it a habit of doing something that can help somebody else.
Yep.
Because I think you'll be amazed, not just at what it does for the other person, but how it works to change you as a human being as well. So
It's the best time of year for it. It should happen year round. But man, the holidays, people are, have lost loved ones that maybe this is a sore time of the year for them.
it's the toughest time of year for people.
Yeah.
As much fun as it's supposed to be,
Yep.
the holiday seasons, if you look at
Suicide rates and things like
Suicide
that
rates.
skyrocket this time of year.
depression, and you know what?
seasonal. Hey, just the fact that it's 4:30 in the afternoon and it's dark
And
out.
it's dark.
That affects people.
Everybody
it affects
gets
me.
Everybody gets grumpy and pissed off because it's the winter time. We don't have enough daylight. The short version, guys, is what we share with you every week. Just try to do your best to be good to other people.
Yep, it's easy, guys.
So we certainly, as always, appreciate you tuning in. We are going to continue, as we do every week, to do a little word association.
Yep.
So we're going to change it up a little bit, Donnie, right? You want to try it a little bit differently?
I think we should do one word.
One word. Okay. So let's establish the order here.
Do it.
All right. The order has been established by Don. Do it.
All right. My man, you want to start?
Sure.
Who do you want to ask?
I want to ask. Who did I ask last time? You?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think last time I asked you. I'm gonna ask Don this time.
All right. You ask Don. Don will ask me. I'll ask you.
All right. Let's see. Don.
Remember, by the way, guys, these are supposed to be initial emotional gut reactions. First
Responses to the word, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be elaborate.
This is like those picture association things that
Correct.
they do at the asylum, right?
I would.
We could have gone
Similar?
another way with that, but
I'm
yeah.
not sure I would have associated the two, but I guess I'll be first.
Don, you're first.
Fitting.
All right. So, Don, your word is going to be hope.
Love it. One of my favorites.
Hope. So this is to me like what hope means to me.
Your first
Whatever it is.
response.
Yep.
Hope is having a positive outlook in any situation, whether it's good or bad.
That's money.
Yep.
That's money.
That's great.
Thanks.
Good answer.
Thanks.
Fire away, brother.
See, I'm not gonna lie. Should have been more prepared. Because I was thinking about this, and I had one word, and Johnny messed it up.
I did? Nice. You're welcome.
Faith.
Foundation for which I live my entire life. It starts there. The 3 F's. The 3 F's. You can never, ever go wrong. I firmly believe that. Faith, family, and friendship.
I agree.
Awesome.
Jason,
John.
here's yours, my man. Service.
Service is just giving back. For me, it means helping other people, doing whatever you can. I like to think that I live a life of service. The career path that I've chosen, Don is, going down a similar one. But and you with the schools, it's giving back, helping people out, hopefully giving more of yourself than you ask for in return. That's service. Just making a difference in some way.
I like to piggyback off that.
Okay.
I wish you would.
Last week, some shots were thrown. And we try to keep this a little lighthearted.
Yeah, it's real life,
Okay.
man.
Yep.
So, what do police officers and firemen have in common?
Is this a joke?
What do police officers and firemen have in common?
Do I get to answer?
No.
I didn't think so.
Me? Only me?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
They both want to be cops. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next
That's
week.
it for this week's edition of the Hashtag Positivity Podcast.
Well, I'm glad that Don ended with a joke again. That's good.
No, he's good, man.
Yeah.
Listen, we all truly hope you guys have a great week. We hope you are in some way inspired or moved by what we share with you. We certainly appreciate you continuing to watch and listen. Please like, share, comment.
Yep.
Be good to those you love. Let them know you love them, and we will see y'all next week.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Thanks so much for listening to the Hashtag Positivity Podcast. Online at hashtagpositivity.org, on Facebook at Hashtag Positivity, and Instagram, the official Hashtag Positivity. If you liked the episode, please rate and review. And remember, positivity is contagious.